Hi, welcome. So in this video we are going to continue our discussion on changing the duration of unit hydrograph using the S hydrograph method. So this is a small assignment on how we can actually implement that method if we have a unit hydrograph of a certain duration. What I have given you here is a 1 hour unit hydrograph, and we are asked to find a 3 hour unit hydrograph. So if you remember from the previous video, we have 4 steps. So the first step involves creating a S hydrograph from the unit hydrograph that is given to us. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of create a table here and rewrite our values. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row. We are going to need some additional rows, so I'm just going to add 3 more. Okay, so this is time that is given to us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So unit hydrograph 1 is given to us, which is 10, 100, 200, 150, 100 and 50. So the first step is going to be creating S1. So this is the S hydrograph corresponding to unit hydrograph 1. So the units that we have for UH1 is CFS per inch. So if you remember, S hydrograph is just a cumulative volume of a unit hydrograph. So in this case, the time step is 1. If you remember, when we convert our discharge ordinates into volume, we multiply it by time. So since we have the discharge in cubic feet per second, ideally you would use time and convert that into seconds and multiply that. But in this method, eventually we are going to divide again by the new time. So I'm not going to convert time into seconds, I will just use hours. Okay, so if you want, for S1 the unit is going to be CFS times hour. Okay, so because we will not multiply it by seconds, so if I had multiplied cubic feet per second by seconds, the second will cancel out. So if you look examples like this in book, you will just see CFS, which to me doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to write CFS times hour. So S1, this will be 10. There is nothing before that. So 10 times T1. So T1 in this case is 1 hour. So that's why 10 doesn't change. So if T1 was something different, then we will certainly change the value. If it was 2 hours, this will be 20. So the second value for S1 is going to be 100 plus 10, 100 plus 10 times T1. So again, T1 is 1 hour, so that doesn't change. This is 110. So for 3, this will be 200 plus 100 plus 10. So this is how you will do it. Now you know how to do this. I'm just going to erase this and write 110. This will be 310. This will be 150 plus 310. So if you want, you can add all the values before 150, or you can add these two and you get 460. This will be 460 plus 100, 560. This will be 560 plus 50, 610. And So just to draw, or maybe I can draw it here. So what we have done here is we created this. Okay, so this is our S1, and eventually after it reaches the peak it stays there, so that's the maximum volume we have. So since this is horizontal, I'm just going to continue 610, 610. So what I have done here, if I highlight, is this part here. Okay, so that is a horizontal part. So we converted our unit hydrograph into this S1 hydrograph. Our next step is to delay this S1 by the new time duration. So the new time duration is 3 hours. So 3 hour, that's what the problem says. Derive unit hydrograph for 3-hour duration. So S2, so again CFS hour. So we will delay, to get S2 we will simply delay S1 by 3 hours. So this will be, so I will, let me just draw S2 first and then I will show how to fill that column. So what I'm going to do here is, if you look at the S1 curve, I will delay S2, or maybe just let me use a different color. So S2 is red, so I will delay S1 by 3 hours, so which means this is 0, and then I'll simply, so again this may not be perfect, so this is how S2 is. So what I have done here is I simply lagged S1 by 3 hours and got S2. So this is how it will look on the plot. On the table here, so what you will do is, this is 0 for first 3 hours since we are lagging S1 by 3 hours, and then I'll simply repeat what I have in S1. So this will be 10, this will be 110, this will be 310, 460, 560, and then 610. So at this point they both are equal. So if I highlight this again, they both are equal and the difference will become 0. So that's why I stopped here when I created these number of rows. Okay, so you have S2, and then finally the new unit hydrograph, we are going to call it UH2. So the unit for this will be in CFS per inch. So to get UH2, so UH2 is basically S1 minus S2 divided by the new time duration. Okay, so this is what will go here. Okay, so S1 minus S2, so this will be 10 minus 0 divided by 3. This will be 110 minus 0 divided by 3. This will be 310 minus 0 divided by 3. This will be 460 minus 10 divided by 3, and so on. Okay, so once you know how to do this, I will keep first 2 rows and write the values here. So this was 310 divided by 3. That comes to around 103.34 CFS. So this will be 460 minus 10 divided by 3. So 460 minus 10 is 450. 450 divided by 3 is 150 CFS. And now you know how to do this. You can fill up the rest of these rows. So just to make sure you get all the numbers right, I will just write the value for this one. So this one, this row 610 minus 560 is 50. 50 divided by 3 is 16.67 CFS. Okay, so this is how you can convert a unit hydrograph of one duration into a unit hydrograph of another duration. So we started with unit hydrograph of 1 hour, and then we ended up with a unit hydrograph of 3 hours. So This is our final answer. I gave you some values for this column. I'm going to have you fill up the empty rows and finish the assignment on Blackboard. Okay, so again, I want you I want to emphasize that in this S1 column we had T1 equal to 1 hour, so we simply added these values. If T1 was different, you will add these numbers, accumulate them, and multiply with the time duration of the first unit hydrograph. Since the time duration of our first unit hydrograph was 1, the time factor doesn't really show up in S1. So that is one thing I want you to remember, because many students make that mistake. So they do this assignment and they think that when you do S1 you don't need to multiply by time. We did multiply by time, but since time was 1 hour, you really don't see the change in the values there. Okay, so this is it. So as you can see, it's a simple concept, um, as long as you know how to construct the S hydrograph. So once you construct the S hydrograph, you delay it by the new time duration, you take a difference and then you divide the difference by the new time duration, and then you get the unit hydrograph for the new time duration. So with that, I will stop here, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me. And thank you, and I will see you soon in my next video. Thank you. Bye.